am a former member of the United States Army's 82nd Airborne Division, which is America's Guard of Honor. I served 4 years as a logistical specialist for the medical unit, which is similar to what MASH was. If you remember Radar, that's who I was. I was the guy who always found you whatever you needed in the middle of the combat zone. So that was kind of my role. I'm an international business major, and I'm hoping to go into global entrepreneurship and kind of help save the world, go green, and all that good stuff. Post-traumatic stress disorder is something that happens after a car accident, a traumatic event, or in the case of many veterans, being in combat life. There are a number of different symptoms, most of which are very personal. But some symptoms could include nervousness in crowds, reactions to loud noises, and then sometimes for certain veterans, thoughts of suicide, a whole host of different deep depression. And it's very hard for someone to cope with these things after they've been taught to be real strong, real tough, and to cope with these emotions that are going on inside of you, which are very hard to cope with. The reason that I've been able to do more than most other veterans who return home with post-traumatic stress is the fact that I involved myself so much with the community. I took the thoughts of myself and I put them to the side, and I concerned myself with what was going on with other people. Before coming to college, I had always had trouble with a lot of the learning environments that I had been in. I transferred to a lot of different schools, and it wasn't until I came to my community college that they told me that I needed to be tested for a learning disability. After being tested, I discovered that I was attention deficit hyperactive disorder. What that means is that I have difficulty organizing and concentrating my thoughts. It's hard for me to take notes because it takes all of my focus to listen to the teacher as opposed to listening and taking notes. If I start taking notes, I get confused on the little E at the end of the word, and I just miss the big section of notes. At the Disability Resource Center, we have Amanda as director, who is a great deal of inspiration and a ball of energy. She's always filling me up with can-do spirit that she's got. She always believes that we can just apply whatever we can do to help the student overcome the obstacles that they have. Saran Stewart, who is my main mentor, she helps me with career counseling and trying to focus my goals here in my final year as a senior. And Jeffrey Gregory, who works in career counseling, who's helping me with my resume building and interview skills. Being given access to those resources had greatly improved my ability to be a better student and to have a better impact in my community. LEAD was something that's very personal to me. Because of my learning disability, I also have a father who was paralyzed before going to combat. He had an accident and currently still lives in a wheelchair. So it opened my eyes to a whole host of different issues that I never before had ever looked at, only because I was never personally affected to them. So once it became a part of my life, I started seeing the gaps, and I didn't like what I saw. So I decided I wanted to do something about it, and I thought that building this organization would not only be a way for me to help out, but to have others help out. And so far we've had a great response from the student body of people who would like to help out, because the reality is that most people would love to do something to help out others. They just don't know the way to go about it, or no one ever asked them. We hope to do a number of different community service, such as like building ramps for those who are disabled. We're actually actively seeking out different projects which we can perform over this year. Our main goal is going to be to create a walk in Miami for the Christopher Reeves Foundation, which will benefit people with paralysis and traumatic brain injury, including the veterans who are returning home. My message to FIU would be to get involved, to forget what you ever heard about the past or what you thought about before. Right now we're at a very, 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 very cool time. Despite the recession, despite all the challenges, despite all the obstacles, these next few years will develop some of the coolest and some of the most innovative times in our community and at our school. And it's only going to happen if we get everybody to help out.